Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Circle Club. We are here joined by an esteemed guest, Mr. Yao, aka Jumping on Another Jet. Thank you for showing up, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I was very, very excited when you told me the topic today. It's all I could ever talk about.
Yeah, listen, it's been long overdue. I've been saying I need to jump into the anime world, and I've been procrastinating. And something hit me. I was like, you know what? I don't use Netflix too often. I clicked Netflix. I saw it was on there. I was like, you're kidding. You're
Mm.
kidding.
And one thing too, I knew when you were on that Miyazaki train, I was saying there, all you just gotta see the animals, you gotta see the nature, and it's gonna suck you up too.
Exactly. I've been going crazy. I've been going crazy with the Studio Ghibli stuff, man.
Mm.
But yeah. So I watched episodes 1, 2, and 3. I couldn't believe it, man. Like, we'll jump into it right now. We got some questions. I'm gonna do some reactions to some things. You got
Mm.
some characters you want me to take a look at.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny.
Boy, but yeah, definitely not what I was expecting. Let's just throw it out there. All right, so let's jump into it. So question number one you had was,
I wanted to know what were your first impressions on the story, the characters, and the theme.
all right. So honestly, so the first reaction, I was like, pirates? Like, I had no idea. Like, I don't know if I was getting like One Punch Man or something mixed up because like off the bat too, like his name is Monkey Luffy. I was like, there's no way this is his real name. I was like, something's got to be a mistake. Am I off? And then like I watched like halfway,
Mm.
and like it was like it felt very cheesy, and I was like, this can't be this show. Like, and so I was like,
Yeah.
I noticed it was in English, and I was like, let me jump over. So I switched over Japanese, and I started vibing with it way better because I was nervous. I was like, man, like, there's been so much hype around this and stuff. I'm like, what is this? And then like off the bat too, like Luffy is so like he's like John Wick or
Mm.
Jack Sparrow or something like that, and like he was just so cocky and like he knew like he was gonna get this done. I was like,
Yeah.
it just the whole thing just completely threw me off. But honestly, pirates, I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
One thing about One Piece is like it's full of surprises. That pirate theme is like the heart of it, but everything that surrounds it is just like the grandest adventure. Like the moniker of pirate could just be taken out,
Hmm.
but it's contextually there because like it's part of Luffy's dream and his goals. It directly ties to him being a pirate, but like the story that's going to be created, you're getting a little taste of it by finishing episode 3 and seeing Luffy's interaction with Zoro and how that
Yes,
trust is
yes.
kind of created. But you'll start to see a lot of relationships build in very special ways. So
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. Like I was like, this seems like this is gonna be a big relationship type story.
yeah.
Like part of me, I was like, yo, Kobe, go with them, go with them, go with
Mm.
them. What are you doing? Like this is the goat. Like, and that's what's crazy too. Is like I knew from like just the first 2 episodes, I was like, oh no, he's that guy.
Mm.
He's that guy. Like, and then the little girl asked him, she goes, she was like, so like you're pretty good at this. He's like, well, I'm great. Like like I'm a beast. Like I'm about to be like the champ. But that was another thing too. Is so I thought his name for the longest time. Like gun to head, I would have been like, I thought this guy's name was One Piece Man. I
No.
swear. I was like, I was like, this is One Piece Man. So when they threw Luffy, is it Luffy or Luffy? What is it?
Luffy.
Luffy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, that completely threw me off. But yeah, initially, man, I'm loving the themes, the characters, and I can tell there's a lot more going on. There's this girl who's running around too. I'm like, who is she? And
Yes.
also too,
Yes.
like the fact that Kobe stayed back. I'm like, I know that means that it's gonna come back in like it's gonna come full circle and everything. Like
Mm.
I could just tell. Like I was like the way he's sent off. I was like, it's crazy because like one of the things you talk about with Game of Thrones that people loved is like to kill a character, but you don't
Yeah.
see it too often where it's like instantly these two clearly click, there's some relationship there, and then they just abandon.
Yeah.
Because now, as a viewer, you're yearning for them to get back. Three
Oh man.
episodes. In
If
3 episodes, 60 minutes, they did that. I was
if
like,
you're feeling that now, man, oh, because this show is chock full of characters. many characters that play integral roles within the plot,
Hmm.
and then they'll be forgotten about. And this is one thing. Like we're gonna go into like dubbed and sub,
Yeah.
but also one thing we should clarify is the anime versus the manga. There's
Mm.
certain things in the manga in the early times is adapted pretty well, like side by side, and less like filler or like trying to stall for chapters.
Yeah.
But one thing that they leave out are these things called the cover pages. The
Mm.
cover pages in the manga tells a separate story of something going on in the world,
That's
that's
off. That's
not
off of like kind of the
get
grid.
off
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they'll put little plot points in there, and then it kind of ties into a later larger agenda. So the anime doesn't really include that much,
Hmm.
but it's not enough to kind of like not get
Take
what's
away.
going on in the story.
Yeah, to take
Exactly.
away. Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like it's that sprinkle on top, that anthology, that background story to give you some
Yeah.
extra flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard so much lore. Like when you told me there was 1,000 episodes or something, I was like, that TikTok is like 30,000.
Yeah.
Like that's instantly what went into my head, man. I was like, what? How many episodes are there?
Mm. At
But
some point, you'll get a rhythm and you'll understand. Okay, the intro is this long. The the part where they kind of go into the Great Pirate Era,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that part's that long. So you'll start to like you'll get the episodes down to 15 minutes an episode, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly, it didn't feel like 20 minutes or whatever they are episodes. I don't even know how long they are because like it's like digestible. You just eat and keep going and going. Like
Yeah.
I really like even before this, I was like, dang, I want to keep going, but I was like, I have like two other shows I gotta watch. I'm trying to watch For All Mankind. I'm trying to catch up with The Boys. I'm like, I
That's where
gotta
I'm
divide my
gonna start the
time.
boys. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let's jump into question two that we were gonna talk about. So this was one that I had was dub versus Japanese.
Mhm.
So you like, is there really a big difference? Did you notice? Is there like in the One Piece culture is one like better than the other, sacred? Because my initial
Yeah.
reaction to it was, I watched only yesterday in English, which is one of the Studio Ghibli movies, and I preferred the English. I think actually over the Japanese
Mm.
or whatever it is. Um, but most of the time I don't watch dub. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, is this one that it doesn't really matter, or do you think you can really feel it?
So I've never watched One Piece in dub. In fact, when One Piece was out for 4 Kids TV on their Saturday
Mm-hmm.
programming, I deliberately skipped One Piece because the dub sounded cheesy to me, and
Yeah.
so just like ever since then, I was just like never watched One Piece. When I did end up watching One Piece again,
Mm-hmm.
like officially, I watched it all subbed, and the characters matched up pretty well.
Yeah.
um it's a very like to some people it doesn't really matter too much, like if
Yeah.
you're coming from a like an agenda of watching it like a cartoon,
Yeah.
maybe the characters sounding the way they do doesn't really matter too much. And I've heard people actually compliment certain characters voices.
Yeah.
For me, I like the way that Luffy sounds a lot in the subs because it gets that jovial nature in there, and like
Yes.
the way that he laughs, it's just like it's addicting to hear him laugh.
So that's what I noticed too. Is like, so when I first started in English, I was a little turned off from the show because it felt too jokey and like
Mm,
it felt like, because that's the thing I notice a lot with American television, cinema, whatever. It's like they sort of almost dumb it down for the
mm,
audience, and not to say that if you watch it you're dumb, but it's like that's what these studios do. It's like they give you things they think that you can't handle. When
mm,
in the reality, it's like there's 1,000 plus episodes. Clearly, people like it. They could handle it,
yeah.
but like to me, it felt like I was sort of like getting almost like a Pokemon vibe to it. Like, and I was like, I don't know if I really am like down to watch 1,000 episodes of Pokemon. When
Yeah.
I'm 27.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
but when you switch it over to the Japanese, like it sort of felt sort of again that like that Studio Ghibli vibe of like,
Mm,
no, there's like this is like a poem being told, right?
yeah.
And like there was just a bit different tone to it, I guess.
Oh, definitely. And also too in combination with like the future openings, like one thing overall with One Piece is pay attention to everything. It's a lot easier to pay attention when, for me personally, when you're reading the words as
Yes.
well, because the text, like the attention to detail that Oda puts into this story is
Yes.
super important because a point that might have been made, it might have been a subtle point. You'll get to it. There's a line that was just like a he was like, oh, it's not him, it's they. Like that's he just said that, and like people, you could brush aside and not even think about the
Yes.
context any deeper because they don't really put any emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the spiral of theories that are produced by it, when people boil it down and look into that line of text,
It's
it
huge.
adds to the impact
Yeah,
of
the
what Oda
theories
can
and
do.
the history of the characters and the futures
Yes,
and where they're going. Yeah,
yes,
and that's something I noticed too. Like I've always been a subtitle guy, but when I was watching Mr. Robot, I noticed that like you need every little detail to like you
yes.
don't have to, but like if you want to really appreciate everything that's going on, you need
Mhm.
those subtitles because sometimes someone will make a little comment on the side or something that you don't hear. And I
Yes.
noticed in I think it was episode 2 or 3, like someone said something. I wish I remembered the line, but like I was just thinking, like, okay, if I was listening to this in English, I'd be on my phone, I'm texting, I'm looking
Right.
around, like, but
Right.
because it's in Japanese, I'm like, I cannot miss it. So that phone goes to the side, and I'm
Mm.
like locked in, I'm focused, and it has my attention. And I think you know, maybe it's similar in English too, but because it's our native tongue, for us, it's easier to get lazy and like not be an active participant when you're watching. So
Yeah. Oh,
I have to agree
absolutely.
with you there too. But all right, comment below, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Do you think it should be Japanese, dub? What are your thoughts on that? And make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be making new videos all the time, and you can watch and follow the journey. And hopefully, if I can get this guy, he'll hop in with me every once in a while too. So,
Love to. Love to.
all right, question number 3. What was that?
Thoughts on devil fruits, arcs, and sagas. Okay.
Yes, yes,
So we talked about it briefly, but I want to clarify because you asked me, how like how many episodes are in the season,
yeah.
and One Piece is very different from like the
Traditional
like
media. Yeah.
traditional animes because
Hmm.
traditional animes you can put them in blocks of seasons, and typically an anime season runs to up to 24 episodes.
Yeah.
That's a typical at least modern day. That's how it goes. But One Piece is so large, and there's so many different like points of uh, 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 like clear and concise stories that don't they're not fixed as far as
Hmm.
like episodes, uh that we like to break them up into arcs and sagas.
Mm.
So uh arcs add up into sagas, uh and then episodes add up into arcs. And so right now the arc that we're in, or that you're in, is the East Blue arc. And
Yes.
the East Blue arc builds the context of all of the characters. Well, not all of the characters, but
Most.
the core characters
Hmm.
that will be entering the pirate adventure with Luffy.
Mm.
And so you'll get to understand what drives them, what motivates them, what aligns them to Luffy, and what their personal aspirations are
Yeah.
aside from Luffy, because that's always important in this story.
So one thing I was curious about too is so because I don't want to I really don't want to look up anything with this because I don't want anything like spoiled and stuff that I know is going on right now is so is there like any like maps that are like additional with the show that people
Yeah.
printed out and like characters and guides because I imagine like a show like this that has so many characters and different locations and worlds
Mhm.
and like I don't know her name, the woman in the first episode that we saw, like I've seen her image so many times that
Mhm.
I was like, oh, she must be with like One Piece Man's crew, you know, and like
Yeah.
and what's his name, son, or who I thought was his son, um, oh, what was the blonde
Morgan's
guy,
son. Morgan's son,
Morgan's son.
Hamepo.
Yeah, so I was like, and again, I've seen him, so I was like, oh, he must be with the crew. But like,
Yeah.
because those posters that have like, it has like Luffy in the middle, and it's got
Mm.
everyone around. So I'm like,
All the
oh, this
characters.
is
Yeah.
like Avengers or some, like like
Yeah.
that's his crew, like that's who he rolls with. And so for me, for first episode to see her and him battling, beefing, I'm like, what's going on? Like I thought
Yeah.
that there was crew love here, but there's no crew. So like it's definitely pretty much like it's interesting because it's like you see so much on the internet about One Piece and like the manga and the anime, but like truly, it still is a complete mystery to me. Like complete mystery.
Yeah. One thing too. That girl, she's very vital to the crew, and
Mhm.
you'll come to appreciate her more by the way she's introduced, like way more.
Yeah.
Um, and so definitely pay attention to her antics, and like yeah, you'll come to appreciate
Yeah,
her.
yeah, and that's what's interesting about this show too. Is it feels like everything is it's intentional, and it feels like everything like will come back to serve a purpose. Like
Mm,
even if they're in there just for a moment. And then the other thing was this devil's fruits thing. So that was
mm,
sort of giving me this Jackie Chan vibe, or like the Infinity Stones, where it's like you have this thing, the talisman or the stone, and
mm.
now you have this power. But so with the devil's fruit, and you don't have to spoil if you think it'd be better served from me,
Yeah,
but from my understanding so far is that these devil's fruits, there's some devil's fruits around the world.
yep,
Luffy has somehow come across it, and he ate it, took it, whatever, and now he's a rubber man. And that was another thing that completely threw me off. I was like,
yeah,
when this man went whoop with his arm, I was like, and imagine listening to this in English. It was so goofy, it was so ridiculous that I was just like, what am I watching here? But then once you switch over to the dub, you're like, oh, this is like his superpower. This is his yay, like
yeah. And the funniest part, I'm glad you used the word goofy
yeah.
because that was the intention of Oda. Oda was like, I wanted to create a character. Like, I would get bored if I created a character that had powers like just fire powers or something. I wanted to create somebody who had flexibility and had just goofy powers because I could never get bored with it. So
Yes, and that's to me that's such an interesting like perspective and take too. Is like I would never expect like the hero of a story to be one this goofy, but two he's like sort of arrogant, cocky. Like it reminds me a lot of like again like Jack Sparrow, Iron Man,
yep,
John Wick, because like it also seems like there's moments where he's like similar to John Wick where it's like I'm just doing my own thing, don't bother
yep.
me. But then once you bother him, he's like I'm gonna mess you up. So like yeah, I'm super excited. So all right, so explain that one more time to me. So the arcs and the
So
what was it?
basically, sagas
Sagas, yes.
sagas are like the larger story, like yeah, the larger build up story.
Okay, like phase one almost, right? Of like in the Marvel sense.
Yeah, like phase one, exactly, like
Okay.
phases, and then the
The arcs are sort of like the movies, like the individual
yeah, like
movies.
like Age of Ultron, that actually yeah, the actually no, the Avengers move, nah, that doesn't correlate. I was gonna say the Avengers movies and the individual like character movies, but
Yeah.
that doesn't correlate.
It's really
But
like the
basically
movies are because versus like the
the
TV
movies are like
shows.
the
Like the
episode.
TV shows are like have episodes in between them, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you got phase one, and let's say Loki was in phase one. That's one arc, and then within that arc, there's episodes.
Yeah, yeah. That would be a yes. That
A
would
better,
work as
that's
a
a
bridge.
cleaner
Yeah,
metaphor. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just,
That works.
I'm just trying to find this metaphor for those who are, watching for the first time like me and trying to understand. Because that was the thing too. Like I saw a couple people said that they were like they jumped around arcs and stuff, and I was
Crazy.
so
That's
confused. I
crazy.
was like, why would you jump around? And I was like,
That's
maybe,
crazy.
maybe they're all like they're sort of like their own thing. It's unrelated, or I don't know.
It just like how do you just go up to this mountain of episodes and go? I'm gonna start at 500 and then start
Yes.
like who you don't know who you're watching. What are you like?
it's
Ah man, it's crazy to
I'm
me.
sure because it seems like there's gonna be good writing. I'm sure it works where you can still
Mm.
watch, but it's like why would you start watching Marvel at Endgame? It just doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
exactly,
It just
exactly.
like sure you can, but like it doesn't make sense to me. So
And certain things that the characters do, it won't pull at your heartstrings as well.
right,
Like you're
yeah.
building up a relationship with these characters too.
All right, guys. So, all right, comment below. Let us know what you think about some of these the themes, arts, and my reaction. Like, do you think I'm crazy? Are you excited to join with me? Subscribe because we're gonna make news content every single week. And thank you for watching. All right, for you guys on TikTok, this part, if you want to see, head over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching here. Make sure you subscribe down below. So Yao has gotten some characters here. He wants me to do a little bit of a blind reaction. So again, my first time watching One Piece, we're in the East Blue Saga. East Blue Saga.
East Blue Saga. Yep.
Yes, and I am in the first arc of that. So he's got some characters he wants me to look at, take a look at, and react. Me just setting this up. First of all, let me say the range of the type of characters. Again, I was not expecting this at all. I thought we were only gonna have humans. At first, I thought we were gonna have like this story about, I don't know, this man discovering himself. Like, this show has completely blown me away. Like,
yes.
I have no idea what to expect anymore. So now I'm very excited. So, character number 1. Who do we have here? Who is, or do you not want to say? You want me to just?
I don't want to say her. No,
Okay.
nope. But I just want you to let me know. Looking at her, what kind of vibes do you get from her? Where do you think she plays a role?
So this character it's like a pink, and she's got pink hair, black eyes. Like, part of me thinks she's mischievous, she's bad. But at the same time, I'm like, she might be sort of like a Harley Quinn type vibe, where she's like, I'm bad, but I want to help out, like Suicide Squad type.
Okay, okay, all right.
But I don't fully know. I could definitely, like, she's got this cutesy thing, so maybe she tries to get Luffy in there, but Luffy doesn't seem like the type of guy who plays games. I don't know. So to me, I'm like, I don't know if he'll fall for anyone, but. That's been in the back of my head. I'm like, because every great story has some love or romance or friendship, but I don't know. And I've been thinking that in the back of my head. I'm like, who's going to be his love interest, his romance? But I don't know. That's my first reaction to this character.
Okay, all right. Your vibe meters are on point with
okay.
her.
Okay.
I won't give you any more context, but yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, character number 2. Ooh, This guy's looking like Michael Jackson back in the Disney. He's got an afro here. I feel like this guy might give advice. Like, I feel like this guy might be someone who knows something. He's seen something, because he's dead, but he's alive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I could see something where Luffy and these guys cross him, and it's like, you mess with this guy, you'll be cursed, or there's no turning back point.
Okay. All
right, number 3. Ooh, this man, he's got the bucket hat like me. So I know he's vibey. He can feel the vibes. That's a little throwback. I'm about to throw that in the video. But yeah, like this guy. I know he wants to. The fact that he's got, and that was another thing we didn't mention, is Straw Hat. Like, shout out to Straw Hat Goofy. I did not put the 2 and 2 together. That's where it comes from. I've used the name Goofy a couple times now, but I'm guessing if he's got a hat and Luffy's got a hat, there's gonna be some tension, some battle in there. They're gonna be
just
beefing.
off the hats.
Yeah, off the hats alone. Like, listen, man. I don't know if you heard about here, but they call me Straw Hat around here, man.
Nah, man, I'm Goggles Hats, man. Come on.
Yeah. He's got this happy and sad thing on his head too, so I don't know if that's sort of like a judgment thing. He can judge people.
Okay.
But that's my initial reaction to that.
Okay.
All right, number 4, we got this man with a panda behind him, and a long sword. He sort of gives me the vibe of like, almost like, man, my daddy owned stuff. And you know what? I can fight too, but he's not really trying to fight because he got the design on. He's got the Prada on, like.
Right. Doesn't want to mess that up.
He don't really want to mess that up, but at the same time, he's like, hey, just so you know, I could call in and get something done. So that's the vibes he gives me.
Okay.
And then we got Panda, his boy behind, and again, see, like sort of almost Team Rocket-esque of like, he's gonna call like, hey, I need some reinforcement, and this is his muscle. This is a muscle. He comes in. Now, what's interesting to me is this is a polar bear anamorphic character, so I don't know if his character talks or not. I hope it does. Oh, that'd be so fire. Rather than just being like a bear growling. with the muscle, because then it makes it sort of like a pit bull or something.
Right, exactly.
But you know, that's where this fantasy and mystical world could come in, I think. And I think with this character, it would make sense to let it talk and be active. So I'm hoping that's where it goes. But definitely the muscle. I would say he's the muscle. And also, too, it's interesting is like, when you think about pirates, you think about them being just in the sea. But I think with One Piece, what I'm expecting is piracy is not limited to just the ocean, and I think this is where this tension will come in, where maybe Luffy and the gang try to rob this guy or do something, and so then that's when the beef begins. That's my guess.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, we got two more here. This man's drippy, but from his ears. So he hears everything. This man, I know this man hears everything. He senses everything before it happens. You can't sneak up on him. And that's my guess of this young gentleman here.
Does he remind you of anybody in real life?
A little bit of Chet. You know Chet. Chet Hanks. That's what he reminded me of. Chet Hanks a little bit. What were you going for?
Well, so this, of course, the anime was made in 1995. I think this episode came out around 2000.
Yeah.
But he's based off of Eminem.
That was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the other one would be Malibu's Most Wanted, which is basically him like impersonating Eminem. That's crazy. This character is based on Eminem.
Yeah, design-wise.
Wild, bro. Wild.
And there's a few characters that are based off of different, like you'll notice
like real
based
people.
Off of, yeah.
I love that. Yo, I'm so excited to watch this show, man.
I can't wait. I'm telling you.
I can't wait. And he got the do-rag too, so you know he's about it.
Yep.
All right, last character here. Now, when I saw this one, this last character, and that's when I was like, all right, maybe I don't know where this show is going. So we got this woman. She is clearly a vixen of the highest order. You know, she's got the sexy legs. She's got her big boobies out. You know, like she's got the clown makeup. So I'm like, again, giving me that Harley Quinn thing of like, but the difference is this cape and this crown that she's got is where the other one I was like, maybe she's sort of like Harley Quinn, jokey. I'll play both sides. This one, nah, like she's in charge. She's getting something done. Like you gotta beat her, you know?
Yeah.
And because she's got the little heart thing, I don't know if that was just an animation. Maybe she can bring them. She can like sort of seduce them or bring them in and make them fall for things. But I'm getting almost like the Black Widow vibes of like beautiful. I'm gonna draw you in, but don't be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by my looks. That's what I got.
Okay.
Was there any of these blind reactions that I just did that you were like shocked by, or like you're like, man, like
Goggle Hats man threw me for a loop.
Which one is that one?
That was the one with the smiley face goggles on his hat.
Oh, this guy.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. See, I mean, like, I really think that there's some beef that like with the hats. Like, I'm thinking from like a stylistic, like you put him and Luffy across from one another, like it would just make a great visual. Is what I'm imagining in my head.
Okay. That's good you say that. All in all, your vibes have been on point to an extent.
Okay.
And of course, we don't know the context, but
of course,
off first looks, you're gauging the characters kind of accurately.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Now, the one that interests me the most, honestly, was this last one. Like, I really like. I feel like when we get to this point, it's like something's going down. Like there is some pivotal moment. Like I don't know. Like there's just a vibe that I'm getting from just looking at this.
Yes.
And the other one that interests me too, honestly, was her. Like I really can't get quite a strong pinpoint, but it's giving me almost like in Pokemon the thing that had the gloves. Mystique or Mystic or something like that.
Shoot, I know what you're talking about.
The clown Pokemon.
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. But she's a bit more strategic than him. Like, so
Mm.
that's what I'm getting.
In particular, I chose her because she has one of my favorite designs. And one thing about One Piece, it's a show that's leaked over to the fashion world.
Yes.
Every arc, maybe arc or saga, I would say maybe arc. Characters they change their clothes, and
Hmm.
so that's also something
Really?
that yeah, you can pay attention to that
Wow.
and see their drip
Yo,
as
this
they
show
enter the next
sounds
island.
unbelievable, man. Like, I literally am just like my blood's running around. I'm like, the more like I talk about this, I'm like, this is crazy how much detail and attention that they put into this
That
show.
so
Like,
much,
it's
so much.
because that's one thing too is like it can get visually sort of not boring, but like it's less stimulating to see the same design, the same character, not change their clothes. And I get why they don't. It's obviously incredibly expensive to animate
Yeah,
and stuff, but
absolutely.
man, wow, I'm very interested now. And the other thing I was thinking too is just going through this blind character is the different cosplay. Like I was like instantly the first thing I was thinking after I saw this, I was like, I got to be dressed up like my man Luffy at some point.
Yes,
Like I
yes.
need to
So I had.
that little mark he's got on his cheek there. I'm like,
Mm.
it's this show seems so fire. I cannot wait to keep going with it. So
Oh man, you're just at the beginning of the adventure. And like I usually tell anybody starting off, I say, well, now we can't say see you in Wano anymore because Wano's about to wrap up. But
mm.
I'll say see you at Elba
Wh-
because hopefully that's where we're going next.
So what's that episode 1272? Like
Actually that might be accurate. That might be accurate to pinpoint an episode when you'll be there. But yeah,
oh my god, I'm just like I don't know if I'll be able to catch up. This is crazy. So I'm really hoping to avoid spoilers because like now that the algorithm
Yeah.
knows I like One Piece and I'm interested, I'm just
Yeah.
praying to God I don't see nothing. But
I hope so too. Like just just focusing on watching your episodes. Take your time too, but don't seek One Piece content.
no,
Just
no,
watch.
no,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
that's the thing too is like I was hesitant to even share with people that I was watching, but once I
Mm.
saw that this first saga was as long as it was, I was like, there's no shot that I can get like avoid like not talking about this
Yeah.
and to mention to you too, like it would be a disservice to me to not discuss with you. So
Oh, I appreciate it.
man, thank you for coming on. I don't know how often we'll be doing these One Piece videos, but man, like maybe if I can get another chunk in, we could do this again on a Sunday or Saturday and just roll through for like 15-20 minutes. I would
Yes.
love that.
Yeah. I think you're good. There's gonna be a point where you've kind of got like the core five characters, the
Mhm.
core five that head off into sea with him. Around that time, I'd love to touch base again and just kind of see what your thoughts are, how everybody interacts with each other, and kind of how you feel because you also get their backstories too. So I'd love to see what you think about them then, and I'd like to see what you think about the guy who you thought was Helmeppo.
Oh yeah, that if someone actually starts to come up, what I'll do is I'll try to record a video that week and then to contrast the characters that I guess, and then
Yes,
we can
yes.
show how far off or far on I was with that. But all right, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, jumping on another jet, the GOAT, the legend himself. I appreciate it for you coming on. Before we head out,
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Before we head out, I should have loaded this up before, but it's all good. I'll do it right now. I wanted to show you guys this little clip I made of me doing my not one punch.
Yes.
My One Piece thing here.
Guess what series I just started?
This was very fun to put together, and I'm hoping now that we got this, I can make a little bit more content. So
Guess what series I just started?
No.
Make sure you guys
Guess what
subscribe.
series I just started?
Appreciate you stopping by and checking out the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Yao, for coming on. And as always, everyone, like I say, make sure you comment below, subscribe, let us know what you think. And remember, Just be
Just
you.
you.
All right, my man. Thank you for showing up. Peace.